Have you ever lied about who you are and then fallen in love? Today, I'm sharing the true story of Amarachi, a Nigerian American woman who catfished a Korean man for 6 months using a fake name, a fake location, and even a voice modulator, only to realize she was falling for him for real. This is a story about deception, heartbreak, confession, and somehow finding real love in the most unlikely place. It's messy, it's complicated, and it's completely true. So grab your headphones, get comfortable, and if you've ever made a mistake in love that you thought was unforgivable, this one's for you. Before we start, if you love deep, emotional, Afro-Korean true romance stories, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Trust me, you'll want to hear how this one ends. Okay, so let me tell you how it all started. Please know that this is something I've never told anyone except my therapist and my best friend. And honestly, I'm still mortified about it, even though it's been 2 years, but I'm ready to talk about it now. My name is Amarachi, Chi for short. I'm Nigerian American, born in Houston, raised between Texas and Lagos. And this is the story of how I catfished a Korean man for 6 months and fell in love with him in the process. I know. Trust me, I've already judged myself harder than you ever could. It started so innocently. I swear it did. I was 26, working a soul-crushing marketing job in Dallas, still living with my parents because rent was insane, and spending way too much time online. My hobby, if you can call it that, was Korean indie music. Not K-pop, but the underground stuff, the kind of artists who perform in tiny Hongdae basements for 50 people. One of my favorite artists was this guy who went by the stage name Cloud. He made this dreamy electronic music with Korean lyrics that I didn't fully understand, but felt in my bones. He had maybe 3,000 followers on Instagram. Very niche, very underground. One night, after a particularly terrible day at work, my boss had taken credit for my campaign idea again. I was scrolling through Cloud's comment section and saw someone arguing, in Korean, about the meaning of one of his songs. The person was completely wrong, like hilariously wrong, so I created a burner account and corrected them, in Korean. The person who responded was him, the guy who would change my entire life. Finally, someone who actually understands Korean poetry, he wrote. Everyone just comments "Oppa saranghae" without understanding the lyrics. His username was @SeoulWanderer. His profile said he was a photographer in Seoul. His feed was full of moody black and white shots of the city at night. Empty subway stations, rain-slicked streets, that kind of aesthetic. We started talking about music, then poetry, then photography, art, life, everything. Here's where I messed up. I didn't use my real account. I used the burner. And the burner had no photos of me, just a profile picture of some Korean indie album cover. He assumed I was Korean, living in Korea, part of the scene, and I didn't correct him. His name was Jung Tae-young, just a regular guy with an extremely common name. We started messaging every day, then every hour. Then we moved to Kakao Talk, which felt more serious somehow. Tae-young was 28, worked as a photographer for a small design studio, lived in Yeonnam-dong, loved jazz and hated crowded places. He was thoughtful, funny in a quiet way, and he wrote these long messages about art and meaning and finding beauty in ordinary moments. I was falling for him, hard, but I was still pretending to be someone I wasn't. See, here's the thing about catfishing. It starts small. One lie. Then you have to tell another lie to cover the first lie, then another, until you're living this whole fake life and you're in too deep to come clean. He thought I was Korean. I speak it fluently, so I could maintain this. Living in Busan, far enough from Seoul to explain why we couldn't meet, working as a translator, close enough to my actual marketing job that I could talk about work, named Jian. I'd used a random Korean name generator. The Busan thing was strategic. If he asked to meet, I could say it was too far, which he did.
multiple times. "When can I take you to this coffee shop I love?" he'd ask. "I'm so busy with work. Maybe next month?" Next month would come and I'd make another excuse. Meanwhile, we were talking for hours every night. Because of the time difference, Seoul is 14 hours ahead of Dallas, I'd stay up until 3 a.m. just to chat with him during his morning coffee. My mom started noticing. "Amarachi, why do you look like a ghost? Are you sleeping?" "Just work stress, Mama." "Is it a boy? You can tell me if it's a boy." "It's not a boy." It was definitely a boy. My best friend, Amara, was the only person who knew the truth, and she was not supportive. "Chi, this is insane. You need to tell him." "I will. I'm just waiting for the right time." "It's been 3 months. There's no right time for, hey, remember how you think I'm a Korean translator in Busan? Actually, I'm a Nigerian girl in Texas, and I've been lying to you this entire time." When you say it like that, it sounds bad. Because it is bad. But I couldn't stop, because Taeyoung he was everything I didn't know I wanted. He sent me photos of sunrises over the Han River. He recommended poetry books and actually discussed them with me. He told me about his difficult relationship with his father, his dreams of opening his own gallery someday, his fear that he'd never be brave enough to leave his safe job. And I told him things too, real things, about feeling stuck in my life, about my parents' expectations versus my dreams, about feeling like I was living someone else's life. I'd just left out the minor detail that I was lying about my entire identity.
4 months in, Taeyoung asked if we could voice call. I panicked. See, texting in Korean, I could do that. I'd studied Korean literature in college, lived in Seoul for a summer program, was basically fluent. But speaking, he'd hear my accent. My Korean is good, but it's not native, and it definitely has some American influence. "My phone's broken," I lied. "We could use Kakao Talk Voice." "The audio's weird on my phone. Maybe next week." I avoided voice calls for 2 weeks before Amara staged an intervention. "You need to either come clean or commit to the bit," she said. "This half-assing the lie is just prolonging the inevitable disaster." "What do you mean commit to the bit?" "I mean, if you're going to catfish the man, at least be good at it. Get a voice modulator app or something." "That's insane." "This whole situation is insane, but you're clearly not going to tell him the truth, so either end it or go all in."
Quick reminder, if you're enjoying this story and want more Afro-Korean romance content, the subscribe button is right there. We post new stories daily, and your support means everything. Now back to Amarachi's disaster.
I wish I could say I ended it. Instead, I downloaded a voice modulator app that could make my voice sound slightly different, less accent, more native Korean. It was subtle enough that it didn't sound robotic, but it made me sound like a different person. The first voice call was terrifying. "Jaeyeon?" His voice was deeper than I'd imagined. Warm. "Yeah, it's me." Through the modulator, thank God. "It's so nice to finally hear your voice." My heart was breaking because everything felt so real and so fake at the same time. We talked for an hour. He told me about his day, a difficult client, a photo shoot that went wrong, his favorite tteokbokki place closing down. I told him about my fake day in fake Busan. After we hung up, I cried because I realized I was in love with him, actually genuinely in love with him. And he was in love with someone who didn't exist. Month 5 was when everything started falling apart. Taeyoung's best friend was getting married in Busan. He wanted to meet me while he was there. "I'll be there for the whole weekend," he said excitedly. "We could finally see each other. I could take you to all my favorite spots there." I couldn't avoid this, not without making him suspicious. "Actually," I typed, my hands shaking, "I'm going to be in the US that weekend. Work trip to Dallas." Why did I say Dallas? Why did I say Dallas? Dallas? That's random. What kind of translation work takes you to Texas? "Big conference, tech industry translation. Very last minute." Oh, He sounded disappointed. Well, maybe next time. But then he said something that made my blood run cold. You know what? I've always wanted to visit the US. Maybe I could come visit you while you're there? Make a trip out of it? No, 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 no. It's a really busy work trip. I'll be in meetings the whole time. Not the whole time, right? We could at least have dinner. I made up an excuse, a terrible, transparent excuse, about the company not allowing personal meetings during work trips. He didn't push, but I could tell he was hurt. That night, I couldn't sleep. I was lying in my childhood bedroom in my parents' house in Dallas, pretending to be a Korean translator in Busan, planning a work trip to Dallas, talking to a man in Seoul who wanted to visit me in the city I was literally already in. The irony was suffocating. Amarachi called me at 2 a.m. because she knew I'd be awake. You have to tell him. I know. So do it. What if he hates me? He probably will, but he'll hate you more if you keep lying. What if I just ghost him, just disappear? Amarachi Okafor, if you ghost this man after 6 months, I will personally fly to Dallas and beat some sense into you. You tell him the truth. You deal with the consequences. You be a grown woman about this. She was right. I knew she was right. I opened Kakao Talk to tell him everything, but he messaged first. Jian, I need to tell you something. My heart stopped. I think I'm falling in love with you. I know we haven't met in person. I know this whole thing is unconventional, but I can't keep pretending I just want friendship. I want more. I want everything. I want to build a life with you. I stared at the message for 10 minutes. Then I did the most cowardly thing I've ever done. I told him I needed time to think. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't focus at work. My mom noticed. Amarachi, you're not yourself. What's wrong? And I broke. I told her everything. My mother is many things, strict, traditional, opinionated, but she's also surprisingly wise about human nature. She listened to the whole story without interrupting. Then she said, "You know what you did was wrong." I know, Mama. You know you have to tell him the truth. I know. You know he might never forgive you. I know. But you also know that if you don't tell him, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Because real love, the kind that lasts, cannot be built on lies. She was right. That night I called Taeyong, not through the modulator app, with my real voice. Jian? He sounded confused. Your voice sounds different. Is your phone okay? Taeyong, I need to talk to you, and I need you to please listen to everything before you say anything. Okay, he sounded worried now. My name isn't Jian. It's Amarachi. Amarachi Okafor. I'm not Korean. I'm Nigerian American. I don't live in Busan. I live in Dallas, Texas. I'm not a translator. I'm a marketing coordinator, and I've been lying to you for 6 months. Silence. The longest silence of my life. The only true things I've told you, I continued, my voice breaking, is my feelings. Everything I've said about my life, my dreams, my fears, that was all real. My feelings for you are real. The person you've been talking to, that's really me, just not the outside details. More silence. Taeyong, please say something. Why? His voice was cold. I'd never heard him sound like that. Because I was stupid and scared, and it started as a small lie, and then I was too deep, and I didn't know how to tell you without losing you. And you used a voice modulator. Yes. For months? Yes. While I told you I was falling in love with you? Yes. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I need time. His voice was shaking. I need to think about this. Don't contact me. I'll reach out when I'm ready. Taeyong. He hung up.
He blocked me on Kakao Talk, Instagram, everything. I didn't blame him. I'd have blocked me too. For 2 weeks, I was a zombie. I went to work, came home, stared at my phone, slept, repeated. Amara tried to comfort me. Maybe he just needs time. Maybe he'll come around. He won't. I wouldn't. My mom made my favorite food, jollof rice and plantains. Eat, Amarachi. Heartbreak is not a reason to starve. I broke my own heart, Mama. I did this to myself. Yes, you did, but you also told the truth in the end. That takes courage. Courage would have been not lying in the first place. On day 17 of radio silence, I got a DM on Instagram. From a new account, no profile picture, no posts, just a message. This is Taehyung. I unblocked you on my main account. I need to ask you some questions. My hands shook as I typed. I'll answer anything. We moved to email. He said he couldn't hear my voice yet. His questions were painful. Did you ever care about me, or was this just entertainment? Everything I felt was real. You were never entertainment to me. How much of what you told me was true? My feelings, my fears, my dreams, all true, just not my name or location or job. Why Dallas specifically when I asked about the trip? Because I panicked, because I'm actually in Dallas and the irony of the lie was too much. Did you laugh at me? Did you think I was stupid for believing you? Never. I hated myself every single day for lying to you. Why should I ever trust anything you say again? You shouldn't. I wouldn't trust me either. I can only promise that I'll never lie to you again. The emails went back and forth for a week. Slowly, painfully, he asked everything he needed to know. Then, I want to see you, the real you. You want to what? I couldn't believe what I was reading. You want to video call. I need to see the person I've been talking to, the real person. I was terrified. What if he saw me and was disgusted? What if I wasn't what he expected at all? Taehyung, I don't look anything like what you probably imagined. I don't care what you look like. I care about seeing the real you. No filters, no lies, just you. We scheduled a video call for that Saturday at 8 p.m. my time, 10 a.m. his time. I spent 3 hours getting ready, then felt ridiculous because he'd said no filters. So I washed my face, put on a simple t-shirt, and sat in my bedroom at my desk, heart pounding. When the call connected and I saw his face for the first time, really saw him, not just photos, I gasped. He was beautiful. Not in a conventional way, but in the way that matched his personality. Soft eyes, gentle features, a hesitant smile. And when he saw me, his expression changed. Definitely surprise, but also something else. Recognition, maybe. He started. Black, Nigerian, not Korean at all. I know. You're beautiful, he finished. I wasn't expecting that. I was imagining what you might look like. I had so many different versions in my head, but none of them were you. And somehow, you're exactly right anyway. Tears started falling before I could stop them. Don't cry, he said softly. Or actually, cry if you need to, but don't cry because you think I'm disappointed. I'm not. How can you not be? I lied to you for 6 months. You did, and I'm still angry about that. I'm still hurt, but I've spent 2 weeks trying to reconcile the person I fell in love with and the person who lied to me, and I realized they're the same person. You're both. I don't deserve your forgiveness. Maybe not, but I'm not ready to walk away either, because despite everything, despite the lies and the deception, the connection we had was real. I felt it. You felt it. That doesn't just disappear. We talked for 3 hours. He asked about my real life, growing up between Nigeria and America, my family, my real job, my real dreams. I asked him why he was giving me a chance I didn't deserve. He said, my grandmother told me something once. She said that people make mistakes, but love is about deciding whether those mistakes are bigger than the person who made them. Your mistake was huge, but you're bigger than it. I can see that.
So where does this leave us? I asked. Taehyung was quiet for a moment. I think we start over, fresh. No lies this time. Just Amarachi from Dallas and Taehyung from Seoul, getting to know each other for real. Like dating after everything? More like
becoming friends again, real friends. And maybe if we can rebuild trust, we see where it goes. It wasn't the romantic reconciliation I'd hoped for, but it was more than I deserved. Over the next 3 months, we video called twice a week. We shared our real lives, my terrible boss, his difficult clients, my mom's nosiness, his friend drama. No more voice modulators, no more pretending. I told him about being Nigerian American, about the complexity of moving between cultures, about the racism I'd experienced, about why I'd felt safer hiding behind a Korean identity online. He told me about his insecurities, about feeling like he'd never measure up to his father's expectations, about the pressure of Korean society, about why he'd fallen for Jian in the first place, because she seemed to understand him in ways others didn't. You understand me, he corrected. Not Jian. Amarachi. You. One night, he asked, do you still use that burner account, the one where we met? No, I deleted it. Too many painful memories. I kept it. Your comments on Cloud's music. I read them sometimes to remember how this all started. That's masochistic. Maybe, but it also reminds me that even when you were lying about who you were telling the truth about how you felt about art, about music, about the things that matter. 4 months after my confession, Taehyung told me he was coming to Dallas. For work, he said quickly, a photography conference. But I'd like to meet you, in person, for real this time, if you want. Did I want to? I was terrified. What if the chemistry didn't translate to real life? What if I was awkward and disappointing? What if... Yes, I said. I want to meet you. I met him at a coffee shop in Deep Ellum. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my latte. When he walked in, I recognized him immediately from our video calls, but seeing him in person was different, more real, more solid, more there. Amarachi, he said, even though he obviously knew it was me. Taehyung, hi. God, this is so awkward. He laughed, that same quiet laugh I'd heard through speakers for months. It really is. We sat down, and for a few minutes, neither of us knew what to say. Then he pulled out his camera. Can I? You want to photograph me? I've wanted to photograph you since I first saw you on video. You have incredible bone structure. I laughed because it was such a Taehyung thing to say. Sure, but I'm not a model. I don't know what to do. Just be yourself, the real yourself. He took photos of me drinking coffee, laughing at his jokes, looking out the window, and slowly the awkwardness faded. We fell into the same easy conversation we'd had online, but better, because we could see each other's expressions, hear the real tone of each other's voices, exist in the same space. After coffee, we walked around Deep Ellum. He photographed street arts, I told him stories about the neighborhood. He told me about Seoul, I told him about Lagos. I want to show you something, I said, pulling out my phone. I showed him a photo of myself from college, in Seoul, during my summer program, at the very coffee shop where I'd first fallen in love with Korean culture. This is where it started for me. My love of Korea, Korean language, all of it. I wasn't lying when I said I loved Korean culture. I just became someone else in the process of trying to be close to it. Taehyung studied the photo. You look happy here. I was. It was the first time I felt like I belonged to something bigger than my own little world. And when you met me online, you wanted to belong again? Yeah, I guess I did. He took my hand, the first time we'd touched. You don't have to pretend to belong, Amarachi. You just do, as yourself.
Taehyung stayed in Dallas for a week. We spent almost every evening together. He met my parents, which was hilarious and terrifying. My dad interrogated him about his intentions. My mom kept feeding him Nigerian food and asking if it was too spicy. It was, but he was too polite to say so. Your parents are intense, he said afterward. Imagine them finding out their daughter catfished a Korean man for 6 months. Do they know? My mom does. My dad thinks we met through mutual friends online, which is technically true if you count Cloud's Instagram comments section. On his last night in Dallas, we sat on the roof of my apartment building. I'd finally moved out of my parents' house. The Dallas skyline sprawled before us. I need to tell you something,
Taeyang said. My heart sank. Here it comes. The "this was nice, but it can't work" speech. When you first confessed the truth, I was devastated, angry, betrayed. I felt like an idiot for believing you. I know, you had every right. Let me finish, but then I thought about why I fell for you in the first place. It wasn't because you were Korean or a translator or from Busan. It was because you saw the world the way I did. You understood beauty in small moments. You challenged my ideas. You made me feel less alone. He turned to face me fully. None of that was a lie. The person I fell in love with, she's sitting right here. She's just Amarachi instead of Jian. She's from Dallas instead of Busan, but she's still her. So what are you saying? I'm saying I want to try this, for real. Long distance is hard, but we've basically been doing it for months anyway. Except now, no lies, no pretending, just us. Are you sure? Because I come with complications. My family, the cultural differences, the distance. Amarachi, you catfished me and I'm still here. I think we can handle complicated. I laughed through tears. I don't deserve you. Probably not, but you're stuck with me anyway. He kissed me then, our real first kiss, and it was everything I'd imagined and nothing like I'd expected, and perfect in its imperfection. So that's my story. The mortifying, complicated, shouldn't have worked but did story of how I catfished my now boyfriend and somehow didn't completely destroy everything. Taeyang and I have been together for 2 years now. We do long distance. He visits Dallas every month. I go to Seoul when I can. It's not easy, but it's real. I eventually told my dad the whole truth. He was not amused, but he came around when Taeyang asked for his blessing to, well, that's a story for another time. I don't know about you, but I did learn a lot from this experience. 1. Don't catfish people. Just don't. It's not romantic, it's not cute, it's deceptive and wrong. 2. If you do something stupid, which we all do, we're human, own up to it. The truth is terrifying, but lies are worse. 3. Real love can survive mistakes, but only if you're willing to do the work to rebuild trust. 4. You don't have to pretend to be someone else to be loved. The right person will love you as you are, all the messy, complicated, imperfect parts. And 5. Sometimes the universe gives you a second chance you don't deserve. Don't waste it. People ask me if I regret how we started. Honestly, yes. I wish I'd been brave enough to be myself from the beginning. I wish I hadn't put Taeyang through that pain. I wish our story had started with truth instead of deception. But I also can't regret where we ended up, because Taeyang is my best friend, my partner, the person who knows all my worst parts and chooses me anyway. Last month, he opened his own gallery in Seoul. Small, but it's his. I helped him with the marketing. The irony of me doing marketing for his dream when I lied about being a translator is not lost on us. Next year, I'm planning to move to Seoul. We're going to try the same city thing, see if we work as well in person as we do across 14 time zones. My mom's already planning the wedding, even though Taeyang hasn't proposed yet. Sometimes I think about that burner account, that first comment I left on Cloud's Instagram, the cascade of decisions that led me here. One small lie that became 6 months of deception, that became the most real relationship I've ever had. I'm not proud of how we started, but I'm proud of how we rebuilt, how we decided our connection was worth fighting for, even after I'd broken it. So yeah, that's my story. The tale of Amarachi Okafor, professional catfish turned reformed liar, turned somehow girlfriend to the most loving man in Korea. But if you're thinking about catfishing someone, don't. If you've already catfished someone, tell them the truth, now, before it gets worse. If someone you care about has lied to you, you get to decide if the person is worth the pain. No one can make that choice for you. And if you're wondering whether real love can come from fake beginnings, yeah, it can. But you have to be willing to burn down the lies and build something real from the ashes. We're still building, every day, but we're building together, with honesty, with trust, with the real versions of ourselves, and that's the best story I could ask for. So, that's Amarachi's story. What do you think? Could you forgive someone who catfished you? Let me know in the comments below. And if you loved this story, we have more Afro-Korean romance tales waiting for you. Click the notification bell to get notified for new real stories like this. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next story. Thank you for listening.